Hey everybody, Adam Savage, and I am in the Objects Conservation Department at the Metropolitan Museum of Art with Matthew here, and I'm standing, hello sir.
Hi.
So good to see you.
Good to see you.
I'm standing in front of Matthew's desk, which apparently is very clean from where it was yesterday. And we've been chatting, I already feel very at home here, but we're gonna get a little bit of a tour through your desk, through your tools that you use. But I wanted to start right away is because I was fiddling over here, and I just wanted to know, is this a cable tensioner? Is that what this is?
It is a Japanese hanging system. I forgot the name. Orikawa system.
Okay. So is this like a little ferrule that tightens down on a rod?
Yes. No, it tightens down on a braided
cable.
Braided cable.
Okay.
And it has a mechanism inside that when you press this down, it slides down.
Yes.
And when you let go,
it holds.
It holds.
Oh, so you can tension it.
You can tension it, and it stops where you want. And
hold on, I want to take a picture of that. I need some of this in my life.
Yes.
What is our lives but collecting the esoteric stuff we need to do what we do, right?
It's true.
Can you open this drawer for me, the file drawer? That's where I wanted to start.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. I knew I liked you. Look at this. Okay, so can you, I don't even know if you can properly describe the gamut of the kind of different making things you do here.
Right. Well, everything we make is made of brass.
Right.
We often use files. Mm-hmm. And this is basically my drawer. Each one has a different shape and a different coarseness.
And the yellow is your color, is that it?
The yellow is my color,
nice,
just to identify, because tools travel and...
Tool travel. If you have tools in a multiple tool environment, you want to color your tools. That's just a great rule.
And I have some files. These are Riffler files, which these are nice because it's a tapered round, but this curve is nice for going in and blending inside edges.
Oh, wow.
It's one of my favorites. There are a lot of Rifflers that are made with the cutting edge on the outside of the curve, which is useful, but this inside of the curve is really nice for getting in. I don't have anything to, like if I wanted to go in and blend this joint.
Right.
This, you can match that contour and really blend it very nicely.
And blend it on both sides and just stop seeing it.
Yeah.
Okay, but wait a second now. Hold on. Don't put that away, because it looks like I see these two things on here, and you are clearly working on some clevis joints. So what is this for?
This was for a mannequin that we just installed.
Are these castings?
No, this is actually, I took a 1-inch brass rod. I drilled the center hole and then used the parting tool.
Oh, all right.
To make discs.
And then you cut them on the rotary table?
Cut them on the rotary table.
Oh, that's so much work.
Yes, it is a lot of work. But once they're made, this one actually needs a little bit of filing. It's a little tight right now. But this would go in the middle. The center hole would have a set screw, which provides some pressure.
Yeah.
But this outside one would also have a hole drilled in here and
tapped on the other side.
This would be a through hole, and then that would be a tapped hole.
So how big is this mannequin? Like 2 feet tall or something?
No, this is a full-size mannequin.
This is like for a full-size costume.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. So there are a lot of, it's hard to find mannequins that will self-support themselves on one leg. So this was a dancing costume.
And so you went with a joint this small. I'm blown away. I love how lithe and tiny this is.
This would be for the elbows and the shoulders and maybe the knee.
Wow.
And for the larger joints, I made bigger versions. So this is for the hips and the one knee that would be
holding the whole body up.
Yes.
Mannequins are such a pain in the ass.
Yes,
mannequins are awful. They're all awful.
Yes, they're very complicated.
I'm glad we agree on that.
Yes,
because it's a bane of my existence dressing my costumes onto a mannequin. I'm still surprised how difficult it is to do right.
And I had made a mannequin before, and it basically just used bent L's, with a hole through and a wing screw and nut to tighten it.
Yeah.
And it worked okay, but eventually, people want to move things around, and as you move it around, it loosens that nut.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, this was the revamped version. This one,
You're grabbing with all that surface area.
you're grabbing with the surface area, and because there's nothing rotating that screw,
Yeah.
you can bend the joint and it stays tight, so it doesn't. You don't
So
have
it's
to.
almost like a stop motion armature.
Yes,
Because you
kind
can
of.
actually move it, but it'll be nice and rigid. Okay,
Yeah.
we've already
Okay.
gone off. I was wondering how many tangents we'd end up on. This is the first or second one. Walk me through some of your other favorite weird tools in here.
Oh.
Are these guys file handles?
That is a file handle for some of the smaller files. I only use them when I'm using the file.
Right.
Because it takes up so much room, and I'm not always using the same file all the time. So
Oh, look at you gluing down all these little pieces of ply. I'm so into it.
But before it was just, files really shouldn't touch each other.
I know. I
And-
can't get around to making that work. This is so ideal. I'm like really,
Yeah.
I'm really inspired.
It's just super glue, holding down.
Yeah.
This little model, I actually have some left over. Model balsa wood or
Oh my God.
basswood.
Basswood. Yeah. I love
Balsa's
that
a
stuff.
little
it's a little
too
light.
soft.
All right, let's move. Let's look
Okay.
at some other tools here.
Okay. I have another drawer.
Yeah. Oh, I don't even have the cutouts. This is incredible.
I'm missing a couple tools. They're down in the galleries right now, but these are some of our favorites. These Nipex,
And these are the flat jaws.
the flat jaws, and the amount of pressure you can
Yeah.
exert because of that
That little advantage.
pinion. Is that a pinion or I don't know what you call it.
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Not sure.
but it provides a huge amount of mechanical leverage.
And because it's super parallel,
Yes.
it has less of a. It's going to deform the object you're holding on less.
But sometimes, like if I make a bend in a piece of metal and it's not exactly perfectly square,
Right.
I can go in and
Right.
just smash one side, and it makes smash it, bend it,
Yep.
kind of overbend it and smash it one side and smash it the other side, and it makes a nice crisp
Bring it right in.
edge.
Wow.
So these are very, very great. And one of our mount makers, Nisha,
Yeah.
introduced us to these.
You guys, I love all of the different parallels.
Yes.
I recently found and purchased some parallel pliers with brass-lined
Oh, yes.
jaws.
Yes.
Which I immediately grabbed because it's really hard to grab stuff without marring it.
Yes. And we have some nylon.
My
jaw.
nylon ones fail
Yeah.
almost every time I need them.
Yes.
Okay, I'm so glad to hear. It's
Yeah,
very,
yeah, yeah.
very
I don't even-
affirming to hear that you have the same issues.
I don't even really use them. If I need to worry about it, sometimes I'll wrap it in a couple layers of tape.
Yep. Leather also, right?
Yes,
I've
yep.
done that if I had to.
This is we had a specific show where we had to bend very thin, flat strap. And they had to have nice little crisp edges. And I made a little custom,
You made this.
Oh,
look at that bend. I see what you did there.
so it goes in and you can get a really nice tight bend.
Oh,
Maybe later I can show you
that's
how it works.
very satisfying.
But it's not rust. I copper plated
Oh,
it.
that's your patina.
That's
That's
a
your.
copper plate.
That is super lovely.
Yes. And these are also, as far as parallel pliers, these are one of my favorite tools.
Really? I've never even seen this one. Oh, this trip is going to be expensive.
They're one of the best.
Yeah.
And
I love Knipbacks.
Oh, do you
Bless
have
them. Yes.
the Cobalt?
Yeah.
Yes. The best.
Yeah. For the piano wire.
And we can cut, I feel like I could almost cut a 1/4 inch brass rod with this. If you go down into that wider, with that section in the bottom.
Yep.
You might have to twist it a couple times, but you can cut through.
You know that there's a handheld hydraulic cutter too. That's
Oh my gosh.
got triangular jaws. You can
Really?
go right through like a 1/2 inch lock hasp with it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. So this is kind of a cool plier.
Oh!
So
What
this
is that?
So this is for making bends. So you can go in and
Oh, and it just makes a very, oh my gosh.
Very nice, consistent bend.
This is amazing.
Yes. And you know, you can just go along. You can mark where you want your bend and then go in. And
so it's very repeatable.
Very repeatable.
Oh, I'm going to do this now.
And these are, I don't know if you know these are ring bender pliers.
No.
This is another set that we use often for bending heavier stock.
Is this your copper work there too?
I can't, no, I believe that's a primer. And then I put this tractor paint on it.
Fair.
So with a heavier wire, you can go in and really, you know, mark exactly where you want the bend and target it exactly.
Right.
Which is kind of hard to do with, you know, you either have to use 2 pliers together.
Yeah, I've totally been there.
Bend.
What are those called? Ring bender.
These are ring bender pliers.
Oh God, I'm going to have to take a picture of this too. Oh my gosh.
And here's a smaller version also.
Of the ring bender pliers.
Of the ring bender pliers.
Yeah, so I have some of these that I bought at a Japanese jewelry supply store.
Oh, wow.
But not as beefy as that.
Yes, these are wonderful. I've been contemplating making a bigger version. You know,
you totally should.
Actually, I bought a couple of these that I'm
in order to do that,
to modify them to make that eventually.
Did you do the cutting here yourself on these?
Yes, it's super simple. You just lay the tool down
and cut out the top layer.
Yes, and I'll show you the secret. The secret tool.
Yeah.
Is this. Let's see if I can find it.
Oh, yeah.
Fast Cap. I don't know if you know the company Fast Cap.
No.
But they make this special knife for Kaizen foam.
No, wait, specifically?
Specifically for Kaizen foam. So you go in and trace it out. And this you can get in super nice and tight with the corners. You know, if it were a thicker knife, it'd be harder to get, you know, these little corners. But
one more picture. Oh, did you want
I don't know if you sharpen your razor blades at all.
I haven't sharpened my razor blades, but you like this one.
I love this. This is a DMT diafold. And it has I don't know what the grit is, but they call it extra fine and fine. And basically I just go 10 swipes this way, 10 swipes this way, and I move down to 9 swipes. 7 down to 1. And when you get down to 1, you do it very gently to remove the burr a couple times. And then you switch over to the fine. It takes a little while. But when you're done, it's just about as sharp as new. And sometimes it almost feels a little sharper because it has a little tooth to it. Which almost cuts better in certain materials.
I've got one of these.
Okay.
Yeah, I love the idea of sharpening your eye because I'm throwing those out so fast.
Yes, I think I've had this one for 4 years.
Well, I mean,
never had
that utility, man, you got it's like the most utility. That's incredible.
And this is nice when we're putting felt onto a mount.
Ah, right.
And there's a little bit hanging over the edge. You can just slowly put it on an angle, and it just cuts the felt right off. You get right up to the edge of it, which is nice.
So when I worked at the model shop, one of the catalogs we always had, in addition to Master Car, was the small parts catalog.
Oh.
And that was like the great way to find out about tools that you don't know about. But that's also like the early days of the internet. This is like 98, 99. Do you have a favorite source for locating new tools besides other craftspeople?
I'm always on the internet.
Yeah.
I feel like when I'm not here, I'm on the internet searching out tools.
I like your little sawbuck here.
Yes, a little bench pen. This I made for bending, you know, larger stock. Which is nice.
And it's just sitting grabbed in the jaws,
It's grabbed in the jaws. I don't always have it set up here, but when we're
You guys have a welder on site?
Well, we have torches. Everything is done with acetylene.
Oh, wow.
Acetylene.
So are you acetylene welding here?
Oh, actually, yes, I did weld that in the basement. I do have my own personal welder that I brought in to work on.
Oh, that's great.
To work on certain projects. So I did weld that on.
Do you go and look for boxes a lot? Because this purple parts box seems kind of special. It's the sort of thing I would note on eBay.
Do you know these are old watch parts?
That's what it is.
Yes.
It's funny. I just came across these for the first time about 2 weeks ago.
I collect them.
Oh, really?
I have probably 20 at home that I...
May I open some of these?
Yes, of course. They're not organized quite as well.
Sure, no. Oh, man. Yeah.
This is a cool, I don't know if you know, I believe these are called navigator dividers. They're made for ships navigating.
Oh, right. For,
yes.
Right.
And oftentimes when we need to measure something, say, inside an object,
oh.
and it's hard to get you can't get a ruler up inside.
Yeah, yeah.
I can reach in
Dude.
and open it up and get that measure and pull it out and then measure from these points, which comes in handy. Not often, but
no,
when it does come in handy, it's
I love the compass drawer. And I love the angulus. I have the exact same one, except mine says angulus here. And for some reason, every time I see these, I say it in my head like that. Angulus! Yeah, the bevel gauge, man, is...
Yes.
So I made one that's 1 inch long, and I have used it more than this one.
Really? 1 inch long?
1 inch long.
Wow.
It's saved my butt so many times getting into little tight spaces.
That's great. They make little tiny 1.5 inch squares, which I've been meaning to buy. But there are so many times when we would need to get in a little tiny space.
So you know 1, 2, 3 blocks, right?
Yes.
Do you know about 10, 20, 40 millimeter blocks?
I don't.
They make little tiny ones.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. And they're like $4. They're like, yeah. Totally. Just look up 10, 20, 40 millimeter blocks.
I will do that immediately.
And you have like 20 of these cabinets? Oh, I love it.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I have an obsession with metal boxes. Yes, those I believe are called iris scissors.
That's a terrible, very upsetting name for them.
Yes. And my wife actually has had to have quite a lot of eye surgery.
Oh.
And I got to see the doctor use one of those because there was a stitch coming out of her eye that they had to cut off.
Oh my goodness.
Just as an outpatient.
Yeah.
And he used that to cut the
scissors. Oh my gosh.
The thread.
Picture.
But we often have to, if we're drilling a hole into a block that's covered in fabric, sometimes the fabric will want to go down into the hole when we're installing the rod. I don't know if that makes sense.
Right, yeah.
So we can use the small little scissors to trim off the extra cloth that is extending, so it doesn't block the rod going in.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, tell me what's going on over here with this construction here. Is this part of another mount?
Well, these are for a coat rack I'm building for home, so this is kind of just
excellent.
An outside project. This was a set of brackets that were for a giant drawing. I believe it was a drawing in a show. Gosh, I'm trying to remember what the show was. But anyway, it had this 6-foot long plexi tube. And the drawings came rolled up. And the idea was to have them, to be able to adjust them so that the drawing lined up exactly where they wanted it.
Wow.
In the case.
Right.
So we'd have one on the top and one on the bottom.
Gotcha.
And so that they could rotate. So this, I'll show you. So we had to put the drawings onto the tube and then go up on a rig like close to 20 feet in the air.
Yeah.
And fish these off, and so onto the brackets. Oops.
Onto the brackets with the drawing on it.
With the drawing on it.
Oh my gosh.
And then this comes down.
And it's holding onto the drawing as well as the tube.
And it's holding onto it, but in order to keep it from twisting, I made it just a little tight.
Right. Have to cross just a little bit
just a little bit. You can't do too much because it's plexi and it will shatter.
Yeah.
So it's just enough to, once it's tightened, to keep it clamped down so that it wouldn't unroll again.
So many of these tools that you're showing me are better versions of stuff that I know of, but I'm curious if there's any really esoteric stuff you end up using on the regular here.
Well, there have been times that we drill into plexiglass.
Right.
And in the British galleries, there was this huge plexiglass wall that had, I'm not sure how many mounts, but over 100, I believe,
Yeah.
on this one wall. And it was it wouldn't have been possible to drill in the case.
Right.
So what we had to do was bring the plexiglass over here, and we decided it would be best to just lay it flat and drill it flat on a table.
Right, but
And-
you can't fit that under your drill press.
Can't fit it under a drill press.
Right.
Yes, unless you had a drill press with a very deep throat.
Yeah.
But that means,
It's a lot of hopping around.
eight
Yeah.
people holding it. So we laid them out on these desks, and
That's
and-
what these are.
that's what these are. Yeah. So we had to figure out how to drill these holes for the mounts on top of the plexi. So,
Right. And you needed them to be vertical.
Yes.
This is amazing. This is the first amazing, useful thing I've seen from it. The only thing I ever built with my Dremel drill press was a holder for the drill bits. And I never built another thing with it. But this is like crazy useful. And then is this the maturation of this?
Yes, so
this was the proof of concept?
They make this drill press. So
Yeah.
I just basically just drilled the bottom out.
Yeah.
And we added a little bit of felt so not to scratch the plexi, even though the plexi still had its paper covering, protective covering.
Of course, right.
We didn't use this size drill bit. It was a little bit bigger. And then I found this
This is a great little bench top.
on
It's-
Amazon. Yeah. So I made this base so that, we could get it a little bit lower.
I really appreciate you guys' commitment to the Baltic birch pine.
Yes. It's getting hard. Well, I
No,
guess
I
it's a
know.
little-
It's getting more and more expensive.
Yes. It's so hard to find.
I now look at some old shelves I have and think, boy, you wasted a lot of money on that 3/4 inch choice plywood. I'm going to pull it apart and make some stuff out of that shelf.
It's like the copper pipes in houses now.
It's exactly like that. I'm starting to dismantle my old constructions. So you spent a few weeks moving this all over a
Yep.
piece of Plex to drill all the mounting holes.
Yeah. So this allowed us to do that. Yeah.
So I love the fact that what you're doing is so specialized that you've got to often modify the thing that you can buy to do the very special thing that you need.
Yeah. Well, that's fun to get to make tools, modify tools and make tools.
Is there is that part of the ethos of the whole shop? Like you guys will spitball ideas about what this tool needs to be and then somebody will tackle it and
Yeah.
maybe someone else might pick it up and run with it on another?
Yeah. That's often.
Phenomenal. Matthew, man, all I want to do, and this is the highest compliment I can pay, is roll my sleeves up and be told what to work on. I
Oh.
want to come and play.
Oh, okay.
Thank you so much,
Oh,
man.
no problem.
I really appreciate it. It's really inspiring, and
problem.
I have a bunch of new tools to go buy.
All right.
I really love that.